Welcome to our first curated conversation of GELS 2026, Art, Culture, Borders. From sketch to showcase, moving masterpieces beyond borders. For this conversation, we have moderator Reji John, editor, Stat Publishing Group. Speakers, Zohra Azi, Chief of Staff, Eythos. Suez Lui, Global Head of Operations, Art Basel. Paul Cheng, Executive Director of Operations, HACTL. Kesanee Skulratanasak, General Manager Thailand, Cambodia and Myanmar. Etihad Cargo. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome them to the stage.
With that note, I'd like to really start the conversation for the next 30 minutes. So we have somebody who actually organizes different exhibitions in different parts of the world. And there is somebody who is specialized in logistics for fine arts. It's a pretty new company, just 2-year-old company. And then there are other people who are involved in the movement, in the handling of these pieces, HACTL and Etihad. And that was also a time when Etihad was actually bringing in art pieces for the Abu Dhabi National Museum. So everyone on stage has something or other, or the way that they have related to fine art logistics, fine art movement, art exhibitions. I have spoken enough. I would let the panel speakers speak. Let me start with Suez. This is a stressful job, and you said you liked stress. How challenging, besides what you said, how challenging is to have something like this? It is precision. You can't delay it. Maybe if you can throw some examples, anecdotes from the exhibitions that you do.
I think what I touched upon was we always have to analyze risk and have contingency plans as much as possible. I think we've all lived through the pandemic, which has been the massive curveball that we faced. And so how do we plan for that? We held a spotlight version where the artwork still traveled to the show. Even though the galleries and the representatives couldn't make it, we also adapted locally and we recruited docents to represent those galleries. And we're still utilizing our best partners to still do all of that risky work to ship it around. And so, that was stressful. That was being very, very adaptable to the changing times, being super flexible. But in that pressure, you become innovative. You really think differently. You look at things differently. And the goal is still to deliver excellence. So how can we adapt, adjust, and still hit that goal?
Zohra, you come with 30 plus years of experience in pure logistics part of and in the last 2 years with Eythos, you are not just a service provider, you are a key partner for something like Art Basel. How significant is that responsibility, and what you consider is the biggest challenge being more than a service provider?
I think she would kill me if I didn't deliver, literally. I think that'd be the biggest risk would be to my life. No, but in all seriousness, any company can move a crate. Anybody with a truck can move a crate. Anyone can do that. That's being just a service provider. At Eythos, we want to be a trusted partner. And trust is earned through hard work, through showing up every single time, every time something is asked. But most importantly is understanding the entire value chain from the moment when Suze was talking about the beginning, 12 months before the show, they start by curating. And at that moment, we'd start getting involved. We start talking to the galleries, we start talking to the artists. For example, we had 50 galleries for Art Basel this year, coming from all parts of the globe. And we were talking with galleries in Milan and galleries in London, and they were talking to us about the works that we're going to bring. So we're looking at some of the works were being made specially for the shows, for example. So we had to work with the artists to make sure that the timing was correct, that the works would be made on time. So some of them couldn't be sent via sea freight. So we have to, from the first day, we have to be involved and we have to be part of the whole value chain. And we have to understand the stresses and the fears and the risk, and risk management is a big part of it. And then you get thrown curveballs along the way, you know. Somebody starts to decide to throw a tantrum and start a conflict somewhere in the world just before, you know, Art Basel 26. So you have to find different routes. So you have to, shipments that were supposed to go from Milan through the Middle East, we had to find different routes. They flew through China instead. So China, Chinese airline did a fantastic job, but we have to stay on our toes and be able to respond to any challenges. That's how we become a trusted partner, I believe. It's by being able to be there when there are challenges.
Thanks. So I like to keep this conversation as engaging, conversational as possible. So if you have questions, please have it ready. So I'll spend some time towards the end of this conversation, take a few questions from them. And from the speakers, if you have a question or a comment to add, please do come in anytime that you feel like. Paul, I've seen HACTL. It's a fascinating modern cargo terminal. It is said that airports are not hotels. The passengers needs to come and then transit and get out as quickly as possible. But I know like that today there are some airports are built like an art piece. So it is like a museum. You can actually spend days looking at the art pieces on display, like the Mumbai airport that I passed through has enough number of art pieces that is on display. I in fact had actually was there with the artist when the terminal opened in 2014. Even then, that time I never spoke about the logistic behind it. I was only talking to the artist who curated that. Cargo terminals are meant for speed, velocity, and volume. You don't want the cargo to remain in the cargo terminal forever. You would want to kind of make sure the evacuation of cargo as quickly as possible. But when it comes to a precious art piece, there is a certain amount of slow. The speed has to be, you need to decelerate the speed of delivery. There is a fine art of handling speed with the decision to get it out of the airport. How do you manage that? And Hong Kong is emerging as an important destination for something like this.
I guess you look at our video before, you see a lot of the speed, the capacity, it's powerful, right? But actually, I would tell you, for our Super Terminal 1, actually back to, we actually opened in 1998. Before we built that, we purposely designed this building. So we have reserved two purposes. The first purpose is about we need to have that capacity and efficiency to handle all the cargo coming into our terminal day in, day out, non-stop. But we also have another purpose. We know that the industry requires not just about the general cargo, while we talk about the e-commerce shipments. It's more important. It's about something prestige or something special cargo. You probably know that in air cargo, we also talk about either general cargo or special cargo. Special cargo means you need special attention, special requirements, and special care about this one. So when we start to build this terminal, we already put that into the design. So we have so many dedicated handling center and dedicated facilities and the equipment to help us to cope with that time of fine art shipments, so that they can come into our terminal, handle smoothly and properly. But I want to highlight a bit here. It's not just about the facilities. For example, in our HACTL, we are the leading cargo terminal in the world. So we have all the facilities, all the certifications, all the training program procedures, everything are there. But from my personal experience over the last 26 years, I think one thing is more important. It's about how you see these shipments. Either have a standard, special cargo, they have a guidelines, you do to handle it properly, under what kind of situations, but just a guidelines. But when you talk about the fine art, they are specials. More than that, then you like to echo Sue's mention about they are trying to do differently. We also trying to do differently. If you think that there's just normal special cargo, you won't do it well. Then what do you think about it? A few things. The first thing is that you have a very good planning before. You got the advanced information. And then you start to plan, how are you going to do with that? When I got to our planning, not just about the cargo terminal. If you look at this fine art, most of them actually come to Hong Kong through freighters. Because of through freighters, it means that they are not scheduled flight, not the flight you take from the passenger flight. Very often, is off schedule. Then it creates a lot of unpredictable issues. And also Hong Kong, there is a lot of the weather sometimes unpredictable, particularly summer times. So you need to manage all of them. But at least in the very beginning, you need to plan ahead. Okay? Once you plan ahead, then you need to, when the cargo when this shipment come to Hong Kong, we actually, because we are the cargo terminal, we handle one-stop services all through. From aircraft land, we handle unloading, and we tow to our cargo terminal, and then we speed up the process and release to the logistic operators, like so. Yeah. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank Zohra's team. Actually, they did a fantastic job. For us, these days, our main focus on what is on the RAM first. Because RAM, we call one handle, put it another way, is the weakest point in the airport. Why we always say that? Because it's outer working environment. You can see the weather, outdoor weather impact. For fine art, it's more about the climate control and also about the temperature, humidity. These are all key components. But when you are doing outside, something is unpredictable. Even you put the PVC sheet on top of the pallet, it doesn't mean that it's safe. Then it will be more about the control, the timing. So that's why when we do the planning, we coordinate with all related parties, like airport authority. We arrange a special parking bay that is closest to our cargo terminal. So we have a team directly told that once it's unload from the aircraft, told directly to our cargo terminal, and then our team pick up that job. But why I need to thank the Zohra is that her team make a good job. Is that a lot of things of this fine art actually put in the crate, well protected. It means that it already helps us a lot. Because at that moment, we need more about how we can maintain the high efficiency throughout the release process. Our job is much easier. But still, you do another thing to come up to the last point is that it's about monitoring. Because something is unpredictable, it can happen. That's why the last part is more important, it's about monitoring. Just as you mentioned before, you need to have a plan B, or risk management, emergency, how are you going to deal with that? Then it comes with about your experience, your expertise. All this come together. You can ensure that all this special cargo can go through our terminal, from aircraft unloading to inside our cargo terminal, and release to the logistic operators all the way efficiently.
Thanks, Paul. Cassini, Etihad is a growing network. You have a large wide-body passenger long-haul network, so there is enough of belly hold capacity that is available. Then you have a dedicated fleet of freighters that operates. The Gulf countries or the Middle East is becoming a hot destination for live events, exhibitions, art exhibitions. The potential is huge for a cargo airline like Etihad Cargo. But again, you are moving things that we are talking about very similar to temperature control, vaccines and pharmaceuticals. These are art pieces, precious art pieces. Like Paul said, there are blind spots or within the ramp in terms of these are things talked about in the pharmaceutical transport of temperature excursions. And you don't want any of those temperature excursions also in a region where the temperatures during summer can be quite unforgiving. Maybe from your own experience working with Etihad Cargo, if you can tell us about the challenges of moving precious art pieces, and there is quite that is being done by Etihad Cargo.
Thank you for the questions. And first of all, I'm very excited and very honored to represent Etihad Cargo to the audience and for our panels. Well, Etihad Cargo, we know that specialized items like artwork are very priceless, powerful and valuable cargo. So we are having developed a very solutions to meet our customer expectation through the fly culture. With the fly culture product, it works to meet with the challenge of time constraint and also the high security involved. So with this solution, on top of that, we also very proud as a pioneer carrier who develop technology that also support what what the Basel and Eythos has already mentioned about how this element is need to be monitored. So Etihad is proudly present the Smart Track. The Smart Track is the intelligent device which can be track and trace the shipment through the Wi-Fi GPS technology. The size of the device is already size of the passport book, as you may see. It's just very simple, and it can be just activated through the pulling of the sticker. Please don't do it now. Yeah, but once the customer or the device have been activated, it will having the special sensor, which is very critical to especially sensitive item that can be monitored through the customized dashboard, which this device can help customer to see the visibility of real-time geolocations to the Wi-Fi tracker. And not only the visibility through the how the shipment transport along the journey, it's also very the AI support can be pop up and alert to the dashboard when this device is deviated from the planned journey. And it pop up also to our control tower team that will be helping customer to have a visibility, not only the locations and also those humidity. It also can be report plus the temperature control, and also in case of any concern with the tilt and shock sensitive, is also reported through the dashboard. You want some? Yeah, we can talk later on detail as well. Very welcome to have that. And it's also about those very important item can be also have a report related to the outdoor exposure and the light, which is very sensitive to those specialized material or artwork. Yeah, so we're very proud to present the Smart Track on top of our fly culture for the very fragility of the shipment profile.
So this, do you have to book the flight with you guys in order to have this? It comes with the airway bill?
It's actually very easy. It is just the place on the customer can put inside the consignment or put on the not on the airway bill, inside. But it's on the shipment consignment.
What I mean is that do you give this to others or is it just for your airline?
This is. We are proud as
okay, and so it should be, and so it should be.
Yeah, for Etihad service through fly culture
and
product.
this something you can give beforehand, so it can be put inside the crate.
Definitely. Yes.
Because this is for us doing art logistics. This is an amazing product. There's when museums do exhibitions around the world, they sometimes send their own courier, like a physical person, to travel and make sure that the shipment he's on the flight and everything. But most of the time, they cannot get access to the cargo area anyway. So it's a bit like saying goodbye to your loved one, you know, and you don't know what's happening. If they're getting on the right flight, you can trust them that they're going to be on the right flight. So this is better because you can really track the crates. As you said, you can track whether it was actually kept in the right conditions,
Yep.
whether there's been a bump on the road when it gets
Absolutely.
from the warehouse to the cargo terminal. And for insurance companies like AXA, this is something that would help companies like us get even lower premiums. So this is an amazing product. Like, yeah, there's something, I'm behind it, 100%.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So this is why Etihad implement this solution to serve our customer needs. And yeah, thank you for interesting. And of course, we can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Let me shamelessly plug our YouTube channel. Head to Stat Publishing Group. You will find the details of SmartTrack. I did an interview with the founder of SmartTrack, so you will find the details of this. This particular device, when it was launched 2 years back in Munich during the Air Cargo Europe Munich event with Etihad, they actually launched with Etihad Cargo. I was there. This was specifically for pharmaceutical product because you want to know what is the temperature, what is the humidity level. Today, they are actually placing it on all kinds of AI-related hardware being shifted around, which is your racks, which is your chips, all of that, because it will record temperature, humidity, shocks, all of that real time you can get. Now, there have been devices in the past where it would record what is the condition of the cargo, but then you would only know once that cargo reaches the destination when the damage is already done. In this case, I think you have a real-time visibility. That's what exactly, when you place an order for online, you can exactly track where your packet is. So that is precisely something, you're talking about this, $1 million worth of semiconductor cargo moving. You need a specific kind of equipment that to be carried, and this is put on the racks, on the pallet. It records real time and communicates to. Yeah, it's a great device. And for more such content, please head to Stat Publishing Group YouTube videos. Suez, when you work with logistics service providers like Eythos and many others, how do you really set standards, and each time you raise that bar so that the chances of error is almost zero?
I think we always have to challenge what the existing partners can do, and we also have to continually monitor the climate that we're working in. As I said before, technology is advancing tremendously fast, and so we always have to keep challenging the status quo. What we did 5 years ago probably shouldn't even still be doing now, and so we're always trying to stay ahead of what is out there, what are other partners doing that may not be our direct partners, and we're asking Eythos, what are you doing? Can you do this? How are you ensuring that the works are delivered in its prime condition, undamaged for smooth installation? And we just have to keep looking at it show by show, looking ahead, and be more proactive rather than reactive. I'd rather we think ahead and challenge and keep pushing the boundaries. And that's why Zohra said earlier, she's so supportive of our show, and she wants to be a partner of our show. And because we are pushing for excellence, she pushes herself and her team. Seeing her facilities in Hong Kong, oh my God, it's like going to MI5. Like that, you walk into this container as this entrance door, and then you do this fingerprint or iris recognition, and then zoom. It's like screens everywhere where they're tracking all of this stuff. It's amazing. And I think, although art logistics is a dinosaur industry, I think looking at what they've set up in these 2 years has just really allowed us to keep going better and better. And that's what we have to do all the time. So thank you, Zohra.
Zohra, when you work with the different art exhibition organizers at different parts of the world, something that is important is that the value of the art, as a result, the risk that is associated with, the insurance that you need, and when you have to use these devices, there is an access to real-time information. So sometimes it's also that too much of information also can cause a problem. So how do you manage those risks? These are what has to happen before curtain opens for an art piece. What is that the biggest challenge for you that keeps you awake? Is that regulations? Is that the premium that you have to pay for the insurance to move a particular cargo, probably $1 million worth of painting?
Many things keep me awake. But when it comes to this big event like Art Basel, I think, well, to go back to what Sue was saying, you have to love working under pressure. You have to be a little bit crazy to be in this industry. I genuinely believe that. I think I have undiagnosed ADD or ADHD. I manage different things at the same time.
Being chaotic is a second nature for us.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Chaotic? Yeah, that's me. But it's having, we have to manage so many aspects of the whole process. The one thing that keeps me up is the fear of letting someone down, and the fear of, if you work with institution like Art Basel, when you know the effort that's been put in, you know the work that the curators have put in, the people building the booth, the art galleries, everything, and you're the last person, the last link, and you let people down because there's something didn't arrive on time, it's the worst feeling in the world. And we're talking about managing the risk and planning. Obviously, you have to plan for. What I like to say is that I prepare for the worst and I hope for the best. And in art logistics, or logistics in general, I think we're talking about concerts is the same thing. You have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. You know it needs to happen, but there's going to be always a situation where things are going to be challenging and you don't know if you're going to make it successful. We have to make sure that if we collect something, one of the key things we have to do actually in our industry, and Sue pointed that earlier, is to make sure that the works arrive in the same condition you picked it up. And one thing we do is when we collect an artwork, we do a full digital condition report. Before we touch anything, we take photos of everything. The guys condition and note any condition on the piece, any scratch, any little crack on the frame, everything needs to be documented. Before we touch anything, we look at how it's going to be packed. We look at the access. We try to build packages and crates before we move the piece. So then we just take it from the wall, place it in a pre-made crate. But first we have to check the access and make sure that the crate we're making is actually going to fit through the door. So that's all part of the process. I've seen situations in Hong Kong where a piece would be sent, it's like 3 meters long. We given the dimension of the piece, and we ask the shipper from overseas, not Eythos, to give us a dimension. He gives us dimension. We go and inspect the site. And then what happened is that the crate that they made, even though we gave them the dimension, is a lot larger than the access. So you have to unpack a crate outside of the building, which is extremely dangerous in Hong Kong. But this is part of risk management and things we have to handle. Kind of thing that keep me up at night. Yeah. How to solve problems.
Okay. Paul, Hong Kong continues to be, and I think even more, it's going to be bigger for us as far as art exhibitions are concerned. Used to be traditionally a place that had a lot of interest in that. It is becoming, there is kind of infrastructure being being built for the live events. At the airport, when you are operating cargo terminals and there are these precious cargo that is coming through, again, one of the biggest problem is the customs, is the regulation part of it. Probably people think that we have done every piece of the documentation, but there could be something that holds back. How do you ensure, as the custodian of the cargo terminal, when such things happen, and if there is one, how do you ensure that you make sure that you facilitate, you really push the envelope to get this out so that the show should go on?
You mentioned about something is probably unpredictable. That means could be everything. Could be some document without proper document is held up by the customs, or could be some document with some issues. so that probably the shipment cannot come to Hong Kong or cannot be unloaded or go into the terminal. That could be everything. But I think the key thing is we have a separate team. That actually I would say there's three different parts. The first part is about we have we call account management. It's a special account managers. They will take care of these shipments. For example, some particular fine art shipments come to particular aircraft. Our account manager will be the first guy to follow up on this part. Make sure that all the documents, do the pre-arrival checking, everything's ready. And another part is that we have the documentation part. Documentation part is we call the kind of the customer supporting functions. They coordinate the whole flight. It means that they check the aircraft arrival, the time, the schedules, and also check the arrival, the document handling, and coordinate with customs and all related authorities. These are all the parties to ensure that something won't be happened, or if something really happened unpredictably, then we can contingency plan on work on it. But we also work very closely with the all related authorities. To be honest, Hong Kong governments, a lot of authorities, they are very supportive. They know that the importance of such kind of shipments. So very often they are kind of providing a lot of support. Even that when we go for them to seek for help, they allow us to proceed first, and then something follow up we can do it afterwards. And another part I want to highlight is about actually our control center. Our integrated HACTL control center, you will have seen from our video, actually we have duty manager in charge. But it's not about that person. It's about we build up all the dashboard, all the monitoring system inside. We have 1,600 CCTV to monitor every corner of a cargo terminal. So when your cargo moves into a terminal, already tracking this one, which part of which part, we all track all the ways. So make sure that not just about the security, also about the handling. So you can see there are 3 layers from the account manager first, and then the real-time monitoring on the documentation and coordinations, and then final part about duty manager at the back to oversee all the things under security surveillance. Yeah, I think it's all come together to solve the problem.
Thanks, Cassini. I've seen the cargo hub at Abu Dhabi, Etihad Cargo Hub, and over a period of time, you've been build up very specific capabilities of handling different types of cargo, whether it is live animals, perishable produce, high-tech, pharmaceuticals, and now, of course, you said about fly culture, which is all about art and fine arts. What are some of the learnings that you are picking up from the other cargo commodities for which you have a name within the market, and then using that for fine art logistics? Of course, smart track is one of those devices that's been also used for these things. If you can share some of those insights of using the learnings from the other cargo commodities for which you have really built a very credible product.
Sorry. Thanks for the question. For each of commodity have a special need for the requirement, but talking about the arts and priceless high value of the product, it is very important in terms of the times and the high sensitive. You talk about the white glove handling potentially that can involve damage the shipment. Let me share with Etihad the experience. There is we talk about a lot of dinosaurs, those sorts of era, but I'm share on behalf of Etihad is about we experience moving the T-Rex bone as the audience and the panel ever heard of it, is the name of Stan. A lot of pieces of the bones have been traveling from New York to Abu Dhabi with a very special care. Parts of the bone is over 2 meters the size. To the dedicated parts of the consignment, it's been handling smoothly with our control. Yes, and not only from that, it's also with the smart device that can track and have visibility on the real time. It's also, we are experienced and very excited to move those artwork to the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. And also, not only from that, is also a lot of luxury auctions item for Sotheby gallery or selections that also having in Abu Dhabi. On top of that, we are also very proud and excited to prepare for the Guggenheim that will be available later on, coming in the last quarter of this year, hopefully. Yeah, so Etihad, we just not move the shipment. We ensure that our customer and especially those sensitive items have been fully controlled and monitored, and not necessarily have to face any risks unnecessarily. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. I know we are slightly behind the schedule. If there is any questions from the audience, I'd like to take one or two questions from the audience quickly. Identify yourself and then ask a specific question. Radu, yes.
Radu from Untold Music Festival. It's a question for Zohra and Suze. It's a pragmatic question. You just mentioned the fact that you were forced to reroute logistics from Middle East to China. What's the impact on the budget and who's covering the costs?
On these particular shipments, there was 2 of them. The airline in question, it wasn't Etihad, it was Qatar, was actually very understanding. Obviously, they were going through a hard time themselves, so they were able to help us terminate the shipments without extra cost, and we were able to book through China Eastern and to fly to Hong Kong. By having good relationship with airline freight forwarders, we're able to have discussions with them. And it comes from, even though I've been only 2 years with Eythos, I've been 25 years in the industry. And same as my team, we all highly experienced. So we have this conversation and this discussion. But yeah, it was also because of the situation. If it had been for another reason, probably they would not have been as understanding. I think that's what it was. So it's a very fair question. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take one more question if there is one. Otherwise, just turning to the speakers for their final comments. Okay, everybody needs a break. Okay, final question to all of you. If there is something that you want to see a change in this particular segment of moving art, fine art, logistic, what is that one thing that you would want to make change? Don't tell me that everything is fine, we're okay with it. We need to question the status quo so that we raise the bar. So 30 seconds, you need 30 seconds to think about it. I think Zohra is already here. Yeah, go ahead.
Where's Kato? Where is he?
Who?
Kato? That was from the airport?
Thailand. He's around.
He's left.
Yeah. No, he's around. He's going to be there.
We were talking about Thailand and helping Thailand and investment coming into the country. And one thing we realize from this industry is that the one thing that a local government can do to bring art investment into a country is to lower the duties and taxes on the art. When you look at Hong Kong is literally an open-air free port. There's no duties and taxes on artworks, and that's why Art Basel and many other art fairs, institutions are doing very well in Hong Kong. Seoul, Korea has understood that a few years ago. 0% duties and taxes on artworks. Free Seoul had their first fair there right after that was announced 3 or 4 years ago. Singapore, they had lower duties and taxes. So I think for countries like Thailand, where they have amazing artists, actually quite a vibrant art scene, but it's not picking up the way it should be, by taking a look on taxation, duties and taxes on artwork, I think it could be just something to look into. That's what I would change.
Okay, that's specifically for the art exhibition that is moving around, not like I'm a rich billionaire buying a few billion.
No, not at all. No, it helps the artists.
Okay.
Because if people come here, galleries will come to Thailand, there will be more homegrown artists. There will be galleries representing them. So now you have craftsmen, you don't have artists.
Yeah.
So it helped the whole art ecosystem. It's not at all for that. It just brings investment, it brings the big events. There's no big art fairs in Thailand, and that's one of the reasons.
Suez?
I think I need a few more minutes. Because you covered a lot of what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think for the fine art, I think for the air cargo industry, they like to generalize everything. When they generalize things, they just identify two types of cargo: general cargo, special cargo. That's why for that all kind of requirement procedures. But I think when there are more such kind of even Sue's mentioned about the dinosaur industry, I'm not totally agree. I think it's fascinating. So actually, there's more attentions, but the industry need to put more attention on such kind of special cargo, and got to have special procedures or handling guidelines on it. But sadly, this industry is very rely on the kind of the generalize everything. So they are not go to that details. But for us, because we handle so many cargo, so we set up everything even more stringent. But for the whole industry, for the moving such kind of shipments across the globe, other terminal, not just HACTL, should be able to do the same. So that the more guidelines and more standardization will be helpful for them.
Well, in my perspective, and if I wish, I think with Eythos' support of the technology, I wish our customer will be more rely on our service, and so hopefully I get more customer, especially. Yeah, thank you for that. And also, it will be value to customer, since we know that customer take very how to say invest. We are already invest such a lot of money into the technology, and our dedicated teams that ready to support. So I wish with our facility can support more to our customer. Thank you.
Suez, last word to you.
I mean, I think Art Basel just covers such a wider spectrum in what we deliver, just on the logistics, but it's also how we can elevate just the art scene in general, how we can educate the new generation, not just of artists, but also collectors, because that's what our platform is all about, bridging the galleries and their artists with collectors. And we're always trying to find ways to tap into that. It's kind of like a full circle, because in one way, if we're able to tackle the increasing, shipping costs, which impact the gallery's decisions to participate at fairs, and it is a business at the end of the day, and for them to succeed, to bring the best works to the show, they are looking at their budgets, and if there's a way to tap into many different things to drive the shipping costs down, to get more funding from the governments to support these industries in our regions, to boost the regions, not just for, as you said, for like 3-5 days, but for the week, for the month, and potentially all year round. And then it can help the galleries, keep going, keep thriving, keep supporting the artists, because I think that is the biggest difference between Art Basel and an auction house. The galleries really treasure the artists that they represent. They really nurture them. They really help them get on the map and really, skyrocket and become the next, great artist in the world. And so I don't think there's just one thing. There are actually many, many things. And by having these amazing partners, to think beyond their current capabilities, keep looking outside the box, and we keep challenging with the government, we keep challenging with our partners, and hopefully we can keep bringing this amazing experience for many, many more generations to come.
Perfect. On that note, let me promise that me and the colleagues at Stat Publishing Group, we will amplify the messages that we hear from you through our publication, through our writings, through our conversation with industry leaders, industry partners. And we will always look at fine art logistics and live experience economy with our lens of logistics and supply chain, and we will find ways and means to amplify, share information and insights within this industry, and at events like this here in Bangkok. With that note, please join me to appreciate and thank my speakers on stage. Put your hands together for all of them. Thank you so much.